yeah, happy day. Congratulations to you, the members. You're doing a great job. But Reggie is still very much in the hunt for the top prize this year. And Craig is in the chat celebrating going top of the league. Well done, sir. Right, let's take a look at the... oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong league. Why have I done that league twice? Shocking. I don't know. Like I say, I really shouldn't do this show at that time in the morning, should I? Here we go. Quick change. Boom. There you are. The men's league table, of course, the Robins lead the Wigan Warriors going into this week by 2 points. The Rhinos in third, and deservedly so. You've got to say well done to the Leeds Rhinos and your faithful. Great effort. The Leopards dropped to fourth. The Saints in fifth. They've got a very favourable fixture list coming up once they get through KR. So expect them to cement their position in the top six over the coming month. There's no doubt about that. Then the Trin, outside Hull FC, Dragons, Wolves, and then, of course, coming up the rear, Tigers, Giants, and the Red Devils in the bottom spots. Right, let's take a look at this week's fixtures. Here they come as the good estate agent there. We're going to have to... Oh, sorry, Steph. We're just going to have to move that for a moment. My sincere apologies. I'll take myself off the screen. Now, hang on a minute. I will do in a minute when I get me digits right. There you go. I have now got the head of the good estate agent. Right, there you go. And here are the games this week. The Giants, of course, taking on the Leopards this Thursday live on Sky. Then it's going to be the Robins against the Saints Friday again on Sky. That should be a belting game. On Sky Plus will be the Red Devils against the Wigan Warriors. Then, of course, also the Wire and the Tigers, also on Super League Plus. Then we get to watch along live. Mark Hill already in the throne for that. Who will join him? We'll decide that over the coming days. If you're a member and you want to get involved, please do go to the announcements on the WhatsApp group and put your hand up for that. It will be a very good afternoon. You will enjoy it. And, of course, the more you do it, the better you get. But that is going to be a belting game. Far easier, I think, than perhaps the one that Craig and Bazza had. That should be a really good contest on Saturday afternoon. And then, of course, the final game of the round, the Catalan Dragons hosting Hull FC. So those are the fixtures. So let's get straight to the Thursday fixture. The teams, of course, have been announced for this because, of course, they were announced today. Joel against Stefan Sale. Oh, yes. Right. Let's go to the home first. Joel, there's your squad, my friend. Again, pretty much a fullish roster. Who are you missing, mate? Who's not there?
Jack Murch is not in. Niall Levels isn't in. Liam Sutcliffe isn't in. And I think we're about there with that, really.
Will Flanagan get back in the squad?
He has to. If he's not named in that 17, I think myself and the rest of the Giants family are going to be absolutely furious. He has to play. And if he doesn't get played, then questions seriously need to be asked of Mr. Robinson. And as you know, I'm a very big fan of Luke. Love him to bits. Great guy. I think he's a great coach. However, if he doesn't put him in, that's a massive blunder, and serious questions do need to be asked then.
Sam Hewitt has to start in second row for me as well.
Has to. Yeah, he's a starter. The thing is, Sam can play 80 minutes.
Yeah.
He's a forward who can play a full 80, and he plays well. He's extremely fit for a forward. So yeah, you really hope Sam would be starting.
Yeah, I think so. And are we expecting a Tristan Powell debut?
100%. He's definitely playing.
Definitely playing. You've got no doubt in mind on that.
Yeah, he's definitely playing.
Fair enough. Okay. So we'll come back to you in a minute for your prediction. Stefan, we'll come over to you. A couple of things from your perspective. First of all, let's talk Flanagan. You'd be delighted, wouldn't you, if Luke Robinson left him out for this game?
Yeah, it was a bizarre one for me last week to leave him out and put Lola here at fullback. I think Flanagan's been arguably Huddersfield's best player. So I think Saints would have been made up with him not playing last week. And, I want to play the best players. So I hope he is playing because I love watching him. But it'll be a very interesting selection from Mr. Robinson. Now all these players are coming back.
Alex is saying that Leeds have changed to 4:30. Is that right?
Yeah, they've changed it. I think is it to do with Rob Burrow?
Right, but he's still on the beam. Right, so that'll be starting at 4:15 then. That's even better, actually. It's not in the middle of the day. That's probably better for us, to be fair. Mr. Hill won't let me down. He'll be fine. Right, so that's the Flanagan debate. Now let's have the other debate. David Armstrong back in the 21-man squad. This big question mark over, Bailey Hodgson. What would you do, Steph?
I think if Armstrong's fit and he's 100% fit, I think he's got to play. He's Leigh's, one of Leigh's marquee players. I think Bailey Hodgson still needs to be in the starting 13. For me, based on Maya Hanley's performance of the weekend, I would move him onto the wing and play Bailey Hodgson in the centres. I think Bailey's quite decent in the centres. He's got a good defensively as well, and I'd like to see that combination. And then I think the main one for me is to start Josh Charnley, and I'd drop down Al McIntosh as well based on his performance at the weekend. But obviously the big missing one for us is Ethan O'Neill. We may get Frankie Olton back this week, but as one comes in, one goes out. So yeah, it's going to be a really interesting team selection for you this week in terms of what Lamb does, because this is where the top coaches get tested. And me, I think there's a lot of those Leigh players that played against Hull FC that haven't justified the place in the team this week. So it'd be interesting to see whether Lamb does the same thing.
Of course, we'll get into detail on Captain's Run when we've got the a bit more detail and we do a little bit of in-depth analysis in terms of stats and the rest of it. But I'll stay with you, Steph. A bad defeat against FC, and don't get me wrong, we've all said it, you've said it, all credit to FC. But from a Leigh perspective, bad defeat, really bad. If they were to lose this game, what do you think the reaction would be with the Be The Raw Brigade? I mean, I know you're a pragmatic bunch and you're very loyal to your team, but that would have to be said to be two really, really bad performances on the spin.
Yeah, I think it needs to be a much improved performance from that first half. I think Hull FC were outstanding. They didn't need any help from Leigh, but they certainly got it with our errors, particularly in that first half. But they were outstanding and thoroughly. I said to you privately, Dave, I think Hull FC, that first half performance would have probably beaten most teams in Super League the way they played. They were outstanding. But it's one of those where it's difficult because Huddersfield are getting a lot of the players back now, and that is a very good squad that they've got there. So it wouldn't surprise me if Huddersfield beat Leigh, especially at their place, at their ground. Leigh need a big improvement from what they were against Hull FC in that first half. And if they play like they did in that first half and make the errors they made, then Huddersfield will definitely have a chance of winning this game.
Huddersfield are going to get better. I think everybody expects them to get better. There's no doubt about that. Carla Colley is saying that she'd have Charnley over McIntosh every day of the week. Tom Massa disagreeing with you, Steph. He said that Hodgson can't play centre. He's as good as Hanley defensively. Right to reply?
Go and watch Bailey Hodgson's defence. How many missed tackles has Bailey Hodgson made this season, Dave?
Well, I'll have to go and have a look at that. I don't know how many he missed last week, but dear me, you've caught me on the hop there. Whilst I'm on the hop and I'm finding that, let's get Reggie in, of course, because you're the neutral in this. Greg, I don't know about you. I'm really looking forward to this game. We expect at some point Huddersfield to fire. We don't know when that's going to be. Leigh are coming into this off the back of a really bruising defeat. I think it's got the potential to be a really good game.
Could be an absolute humdinger. It's one of those games that has got the potential to be really, really good. Huddersfield getting players back, but a lot of those players, maybe, we talk about match fitness, and Leigh will be stinging that first half performance. I mean, they only kind of got back into the game when Asiata went off. I think Steph will agree with that. He was the linchpin in that first half for Hull. He was superb. I think this will be a closer game than a lot of people think. Huddersfield have got to string an 80-minute performance together at some point this season. Joel, you probably agree with this. That they've been very good over 40 minutes or 50 minutes and then just fallen apart, or they've been very poor for 40 minutes and then got it together in the second 40 minutes. At some point this season, they have got to string together a good 80-minute performance.
Yeah, Craig Ford from the chat there saying it'll be 4 in a row. So he expects a bit of pressure Carl is also saying that, you know, the pressure's on Leigh going into this. I think any team that, you know, and this is no disrespect to the bottom three, because Salford we expect to lose, and again, I'm sorry, Salford fans, we do, because of the personnel. But Castleford have got wins in them, they've got upsets in them, and I think Huddersfield at some point are going to have upsets in them. There's no doubt about that. Huddersfield will turn at some point. I do believe that. But yeah, I mean, Leigh, especially off the back of last week, Adrian Lamb needs a reaction. Of course, fourth in a row. Just want to talk to my old mate here. Good to see Nicola Burtonwood in the chat as always. We'll get to her prediction in a minute. Where's he gone? You know, this is the problem when you see someone in the chat, and you go, right, where's that gone? And then, you know, I can't find it again, which is unbelievable because everybody's talking, which is very disappointing. We've got Nigel Wood with us, but it's not the real Nigel Wood. But that's him. Dan Parker. Dan says it's a great show. Join the membership, Dan. If you're enjoying it, mate, there's the QR code. Join the membership. Come and join your Robins brethren. There's lots of them ready to welcome you into our community. Dan Parker, come on, mate. You know what makes sense. There's the QR code. Become a member tonight. Come and see what you're missing, my friend. Right, let's get serious. Let's start talking predictions. Greg, you, of course, are the neutral in this. So I'm going to let you kick off. Where do you think this win is going to go, and by how many, sir?
Right, I think that Huddersfield will be buoyed by players that are getting back, but I think Leigh will be really, really, really eager to bounce back after last week. I didn't think that Hull would beat them as convincingly as they did. I don't think many people did. They will sting from that. And Joel, please forgive me, but I'm going to go Leigh 9-17.
9-17 to the Leopards. Leigh. We'll go to Steph. He's away. Steph, your side, over to you.
I see it being quite a close game, this one. I think they'll match up. I think their forwards will probably match up quite well with ours. So I expect them to be quite dominant down the middle. I think we need to see Edwin Mbappe on his blistering form, not just a mix and match of brilliance and then absolute ludicrous stuff. So that's going to be a critical part of the game, and team selection for both coaches is going to be critical in this game. I'm going to go Leigh 1-8, but it could be either Leigh 1-8 or Huddersfield 1-8 for me. This.
Well, Andy Bibby, he's gone the Giants 1-8, and Aidan Simpson, he has gone the Giants 1-8. Joel, bit of love for you there, mate. What's your thoughts?
Even Mr. Sharp put Huddersfield, but I think he's having some sort of sick joke, if I'm being honest. Not catching bait on that one, Alex. Try again. Had we played the spine that I mentioned in Round Unpacked, so please become members so you can watch Round Unpacked. If we'd have had, for me, the spine would be George Flanagan at 1.
Yeah.
You'd have Wolford at 9. You'd have Tui at 6. You'd have Clune at 7. You'd have Rush as your backup 9, because he's a very good 9, especially a very good backup 9 as well at that. We've been lacking, and this is something that my dad's been saying to me for weeks and weeks, and he's 100% right, is that our line speed, our ruck speed is just far too slow. It's almost like we're playing with Zimmer frames. It's so slow. It's boring to watch. It's absolutely terrible. Had we had played that spine last week, coming into this week, my prediction would have been far different, and I would have even gone as far to say we had a possibility of winning this game. That didn't happen. And though I think if we do go with that spine, we will see a lot more line speed, a lot of quicker playing the ruck, and around, getting up quicker, just trying to control the game a little bit more. I still don't see us being able to compete like that, because we've now got more people back. There's still a lot of ring rust. You can see it. They're blowing off a lot of cobwebs. And this has come at a bad time to play Leigh, who have been off a 3-bounce loss, which is never good. Leigh's not a team that you come against after a loss. I have gone Leigh 18+, though I do want to see a commitment. I want to see an effort for a full 80 minutes. I'm happy with a loss. I'm not happy with no effort, and that's where it lands for me. There has to be effort, and they have to play together as a team.
Fair enough. So, what are you going?
Leigh 18 plus.
Wow.
Easy for them.
No, I don't see that. I don't see that. I really don't. I would hope for your sake that things improve this week. Well, I don't think you win, but I'd like to think you're not an 18 plus. So Craig, for a lot of 9 to 17s for Leigh. I get that. A few 1 to 8s in the chat as well. Carla Colley 9 to 17 Leigh. We've got John Wilkinson 9 to 17. Craig Stanley's gone 1 to 8 Leigh. Don Kirkby's 9 to 17 Leigh. Tom Bevan 9 to 17. So quite a lot of 9 to 17s. A couple of 1 to 8s in there. Maybe it's the neutral in me. I'm just hoping for a really good game. I'm going Leigh 1 to 8. I'm hoping it's a nice tight game. I think yeah.
I'm not sure if Freddie's in the chat, but I'm sure Freddie will probably quite agree with me.
No, I don't think he is. I don't know where Reggie's gone. Reggie obviously has been caught short. But anyway, what am I doing down there? Shock. Oh, there he is. There you are. That's much better. Yes, that's the OCD. You know that. Right, lovely stuff. Well, anyway, there you go. That's the Huddersfield against Leigh game. Let's now move on to the next game on the list, which is which order? Let's get it out of the way. Salford against Wigan. Let's do this quick, shall we? Joel?
18 plus Wigan.
Steph?
Salford 1 to 8. No, Wigan 18 plus. It's got to be.
Greg?
Wigan 18 plus.
Yeah, 18 plus. Just going back to the previous game, non-members have gone Leigh 18 plus, and the members have gone Leigh 9 to 17. Everybody going Wigan 18 plus. No major surprise there. Now let's get into a juicy game. Let's get into a game that I think is fascinating. Hull KR pre-Wembley, massive. What is Willie Peters going to do? I think it's already come out today. Dean Hadley's very doubtful for this one. Very doubtful. I don't think anybody who is carrying a knock, rightly so, he will leave out, no doubt. I think if they're fully fit, he'll play him. I think he's that type of coach, is Willie Peters. I think if they're fully fit, he'll play him. But any doubts at all, he might rest a few. So will we see the 17 that played at Warrington? Possibly not. But I think it'll be a very, very strong team because he understands. And I think the Robins fans understand that Wigan can overtake them at the top this weekend if they don't get the right result. And once Wigan hit the front, we know what Wigan are about. So I think he understands that, there is that fine balance here. Saints have been in poor form, but have had 2 good wins. You could argue against 2 sides that have been pretty poor, have not really been firing. But you can only beat what's in front of you. And what this has allowed Saints to do is to work on attacking combinations, to find that spine, to find that fluidity. When you see Morgan Knowles doing grubber kicks, you're in trouble. Let's be absolutely honest about that. So it's allowed them that little bit of, breathing space to just get their combinations right, build the confidence. So they will be going to Craven Park in far better fettle than they have been for many, many a week. So I think this has got all the potential to be a really good game. Perhaps maybe for the first time, a Saints team that could go and compete against the likes of KR and Wigan based on what we're seeing. I think the combinations are right at the moment. They look better, do Saints at this moment in time. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's a shame, obviously. I'll have to watch it when I get home from the Wire Cast game. And I know I'll get the score before I manage to watch it. But yeah, really looking forward to getting home on Friday night, as I'm sure Reggie is, to watch this one because it should be an absolute belter. Really looking forward to it. Right, Joel, we'll start with you. We know KR are a brilliant side, but Saints have got the personnel. We all know they've got the personnel. Talk us through it and give us your prediction. You've got to be looking forward to it, mate.
Oh, yeah, very much so. It's a game where I think that the team that allows themselves the most space will be the ones that will control the game. Saints, we allowed them a lot of possession. We allowed them a lot of area, space to do what they needed to do and to create opportunities, and they took them every time. KR's not a team that's going to allow that. KR are very much in your face. They're very fast. They're very fit. And that will help for the full 80 minutes. So Saints have got to think differently in this game. They've got to realise that they're coming up against some real heavy competition. They're going to have to find a way of creating their own space. They're going to have them rugby smarts throughout the whole game to have a chance of winning here, because they are playing fantastic rugby now with Saints. We're seeing an improvement from them. It was really good. I really enjoyed watching the game, though KR are just red hot. And, the defence is as good as their attack. So, even if you do give them space, they're still going to stop you from scoring. So I think for that, I have gone for a KR win. I've gone 9-17. But I don't think it's going to be the higher end of that. I think it's going to be like towards the lower end. I don't see it being as close as 1-8. But yeah, I'm going 9-17.
To KR.
KR, yeah.
Okay. Greg, you saw KR at close quarters last week. Saints, of course, Warrington at the moment got the hoodoo over Saints a little bit.
They have.
Albeit I think it's a better Saints at this point in the season than it was when Warrington played them earlier in the season. What are your thoughts on it, mate?
Saints are improving. Sorry, guys, the hay fever's kicking in, so that's why I keep disappearing. But Saints are improving week on week. Got some players back. Sailor seems to have settled into a new position, and I think that was maybe a bit the problem in early doors with Saints. He didn't quite know where to put Sailor in because it was throwing other players out, other creative players out. KR were very, very good last week, albeit against a Warrington team that maybe was a little bit weaker than they might have expected, but that's no excuse. They were very, very good. Mikey Lewis is an absolute, he's a thorn in every other team's side, Mikey Lewis. Will he rest Mikey Lewis? I think this rests on whether Mikey Lewis is rested for this game. Can't afford injury, can't afford any kind of disciplinary against him. If Mikey Lewis plays, I'm going KR 1-8, and I'm going to have to take it that he's going to play as strong a team as possible before Wembley. I'm going KR 1-8. I think, as somebody's already said in the chat, I think this could very well be a golden pointer. I'm hoping it is for obvious reasons. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very, very good game. Will the KR players' minds be on Wembley? They shouldn't be if they're professionals. But yeah, I'm going KR 1-8.
Well, all I know is this. When Ollie speaks, we listen. Young Ollie is in the chat. Yes, he is. He's saying that Rovers will rest key players, and Ollie's going against his team. He's going Saints 1-8. Steph, what's your thoughts?
I'm going to have to disagree with Ollie, unfortunately, on this one. I don't think he's going to rest players. I think they made that massive error in 2023 against Leigh. Obviously, Leigh went full strength and went and beat Leeds at Leeds before the Challenge Cup final. Evening, Alex Sharp. So yeah, I do expect Willie Peters to put his strongest 17 available, subject to those players being fully fit. So if there's any niggles, then I think those players may get rested. But he will want to name his strongest 17 and go in with momentum to this game. I think the interesting and the bit we've not really talked about is Saints form, and I think Saints are looking very dangerous at the moment. And like you mentioned earlier, Dave, about building those combinations, I think that could be crucial in this game, and I think Saints will definitely fancy the chances in this. I think it's a good time for them to play Hull KR, and I'm expecting this to be a real humdinger of a game. We've got to remember as well, some of these KR players are playing for their place to play at Wembley, so they're going to want to put in a really good performance. So it could go either way, but I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go Saints 1-8.
Ooh, he's getting. Yeah. You disagree with Ollie?
I disagreed with him that KR. I think KR are going to put the strongest team out. I still think Saints 1-8.
Yeah. Well, before I give you my prediction on this, I disagree with Craig. I don't think this is the tide around. I think it's Wakey. I really do. I think that has got the potential to be a really, really good game. I'm really looking forward to that Wakey Leeds game. But yeah, this has got it has got everything going for it. But someone just tells me Wakey beating Leeds first game of the season, both of those two sides in really good form. Ooh, it's a mouthwater that. We'll get to that in a little while. There's Dan Parker, of course, the next Super League Raw member. He's saying that he'd rest. I think it's Mikey Lewis, or maybe it's Jack Broadbent, one of the two. But yeah, for me, I think this is a fascinating game. I really, really do. It takes, let's be fair, this is KR. KR are just a bit of juggernaut, really, this season. With the exception of that Wigan game where you probably want the time again, didn't crown themselves in too much glory that day. Wigan, though, were excellent. I mean, two glorious moments of skill from Bevan French, which just turned that game. And, of course, a majestic run from field. But we also know that KR have got that in their locker. There's just something telling me, like it's telling Ollie, like it's telling Steph, there's something telling me that Saints could do this. There is that spectre of the final. Saints, for me, come into this game with a lot going for them. Sirenan had his best game of the season against it. And I know it's the Giants, I know that, but it's about confidence building. Knowles is in incredible form. The combination between Whitby and Lomax is cementing. Wellesby at fullback's been outstanding. Saylor looks incredible on the wing because of his pace and his skill. Percival's class, we know that. Alex Walmsley's the top meter maker in the league. There's a lot going for Saints in this. And if KR are distracted by that final, Saints win. Saints win. There's no doubt about it for me because Saints are in that level of form. So I think it's going to be very interesting. And on that basis, and because I'm behind and I've got to be a bit different, I am going to go Saints 1-8. But I genuinely believe that Saints could do it. I do genuinely believe that Saints could. I think if it was any other week than the week before the Challenge Cup final, I'd probably back KR. But just something tells me that where Saints are at the moment and that final on the horizon could be the Saints. And imagine the keyboard warriors. They'd be putting the keyboards away for Helens, wouldn't they, if that happened? But that's another story. Right, let's get to the wire. I think I'll just quickly in the chat, let's have a quick look, actually, before we do that. Hey up, Chihuahuas are back. Chihuahuas are back in the chat. We're not going there. Andy Bibby's going draw. KR 9-17, Tom Messer. Most are going KR. Daniel Long says KR 1-8. Most going KR. But, yeah, pretty... Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Right, Warrington against the Tigers. Don't forget, you Tigers fans, Bluebell, 6:00. Come and join us. You'll love it. You will absolutely love Super League Raw Live in the Bluebell this Friday night. Don't miss out. Keep your eyes on our social media feeds. We'll give you all the information you need in terms of where to park, when we start, everything. Absolutely marvellous. Right, let's start with Steph. Steph, Wire against Cass. Over to you.
Yeah, I think this is going to be another really good game, actually. Cass playing pretty all right at the moment. Obviously, went down to Leeds, but only 7-0 at half-time in that game. I thought Cass played really well that first half. And obviously, with the injuries that Warrington have got, I think it's a bit of a leveller. So Cass will definitely be fancying this one. But I do think Warrington are going to be a bit too strong for them. I think they're going to be buoyed by that performance they put in against KR. I think it was a better performance than most people expected. So I'm going to go Warrington 9-17 in this one. I think Warrington have got a really good chance of doing all right in this game.
Wire 9-17. Joel?
Just a point before I go as well. Bailey Hodgson has made 25% less missed tackles than Amaya Handler this season, to answer that question from before.
But he is 75% efficiency.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's move on to Joel. Over to you, Joel.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one and a very difficult one to call this game because Cass are going to rely quite heavily on their forward pack. They're going to hope that the forwards are going to get them into territory.
Ramon's out. Ramon's out, I think.
Yeah, but they've still got a few recruits that they've had in. So we'll see how they get on. Having obviously Amon not being there is a miss, but they've now got a much bigger pack than they certainly did at the start of the season. So that's where they're going to be relying, and they're going to hope that they can get some meters up, certainly out of their own half, and that's the biggest thing for Cass. With Wire having the injury issues that they're having currently, that is going to have a bigger factor and impact on the game. So I see it being a lot closer, a lot closer. I'm going wire 1-8 for two reasons. One, they're at home, and two, that they're going to be very careful for the Challenge Cup. They're not going to go all guns blazing because they're going to want to keep as many people as safe as possible and get through this week. But yeah, they're going to have a bit too much for Cass.
Dan Parker trying to say that Alex Sharp is FC. No, Alex Sharp is Leeds Rhinos, my friend. Right, Greg. I actually disagree a little bit with Joel. I think that Warrington need a momentum-defining win against Cass. I think they need a big win to build the confidence going into that game at Wembley. What's your thoughts, mate?
I think it's essential that they have a momentum-building win this weekend. Will it happen? You know, it depends on what team, what squad, what team Big Sam puts out. It depends on the halfback combination. You know, we lost Ollie Leyland. How long's Ollie Leyland out for? We've got no Williams. Does he bring Sneed back in to partner Ratchford? Does he put Curry in there? You know, Holroyd. There's going to be a lot of youngsters on there. I think Connor Wrench, the younger Thewlis. You know, it's a difficult one, this. It really is. I think it's going to be a tight game. But as somebody just, as Ben's just put in the chat, there's a lot of Warrington players there who could be earning a Wembley shirt. And that is a big thing for any team to be earning a shirt at that Challenge Cup final. Castleford haven't beat Warrington for 3 years, I think. I think they beat us with a drop goal about 3 years ago. I'm going to go. Yeah, Steph's a wire flyer and I'm his first reserve.
I can't win me. I'm the wire flyer, and then the next bit I never back Warrington.
I know, yeah.
Right,
I can't predict results to save my life as well. I'm second in the league. Anyway, yeah, I think wire 9-17.
9-17. So
Yeah.
you're going for that defining win. I'm going wire 1-8. In the chat, Nigel Wood, wire 9-17. Nigel will be a member soon. We've actually got a few people debating. I can see what they're doing on the website. They debated. Did he become a member? Did he not? Come on, you know it makes sense. Garibo cast 9-17. Ollie Stokes going wire 1-8. Good lad, Ollie. I've always liked Ollie. He's a good lad. Andy Bibby wire 18 plus. Craig Stanley wire 9-17. Cal Shaw cast 1-8. Brett Johnson cast 1-8. So there's a bit of love for Cass as well. Majority Nicola Burtwood. Nick 9-17 to the wire. Tom Bevan wire 18 plus. Nige Bennett going Tigers 1-8. So bit of love there. Bit of love for Cass. It'll be a very interesting game. Don't forget, you Tigers fans, join us in the Bluebell. Right, let's get to what I believe is the game of the round. I think this is a tantalising game. Really looking forward to Mark Hill doing Watch Along Live on Saturday. Right, Joe, we'll start with you. Two teams that, of course, you love to go up against us, the Huddersfield Giants. They're going to be going up against each other. I know you're impressed with Wakefield. I know you're impressed with Leeds as well this season. This could be an absolute brilliant war of the White Rose over there in Headingley Stadium. Over to you, sir. What do you make of it? Where's it going to go?
Another one that's very hard to call. Two West Yorkshire clubs. It's not a typical derby. It's certainly not one of them. But it's shaping up to be a good contest coming into the future with both the forms that they've been going in. As we're well aware, Leeds have got a very good defence, and Wakefield have got a fantastic attacking side. The difference between the two is that Leeds are very good on both sides of the ball, where they're off the ball and when they're on it. And I think that could probably be the defining moment. There's nothing to say that Wakefield won't win or can't win. But I think there's just a couple of things there that's going to be in Leeds' favour. Is their defence is just very, very good. Connor's flying high, He's doing great, and it's lovely to see. This is at Leeds, isn't it? I think it's at home.
It's at Headingley, yeah.
Yeah, so that's another factor. That's not going to help the South Stand being on top of Wakey. They're going to be up for it, and I have gone Leeds 1-8 just for them. Two factors alone that Leeds are just really, really, really good at the moment. And like you said, it's going to be very tantalising. It's a good word, that, Dave. It's going to be a tasty fixture.
Yeah, tantalising like that. Just on that point, though, about Leeds. Yeah, Leeds have got a better defence. They have 133 conceded to Wakey's 188. However, Wakey have scored more, 305 to 242, albeit that game against Salford certainly bolstered that at the weekend. Greg, this could be a belter. I see it a 1-8 either way. Which way are you going?
I'm really looking forward to this game. I think Leeds were taken by surprise by Wakefield early doors. I don't think they'll get taken by surprise again. I'm going Rhinos 1-8.
Rhino, you're going to wear the Rhinos 1-8.
Yeah,
Simpson there saying Leeds versus Wakey is like picking a favourite relation. We will take you. We'll take you word for that, Simo lad. Steph, again, probably going to go 1-8. I'm guessing either way. I think it's deserving of a close game. Which way are you going, mate?
Well, we've already alluded to Wakefield this season. I mean, the improvement they've made has been better than Joel's Wi-Fi this evening. It's going to be a phenomenal game. This one, I think. I'm going to go back to I'm going to go back to the Leeds Cass game and that first half performance from Leeds, which not any disservice to Cass, who I thought was great, but Leeds I think were pretty poor in that first half, and they did really well to come out in the second half and do a job on Cass. But Wakefield are not Castleford. Wakefield are miles better than Castleford this season, and that's just fact. And it's at Wakefield as well, isn't it? This one?
No, it's away. It's at Headingley.
Oh, it's at Headingley again?
Yeah, it's Headingley. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, that does make a bit of a difference to what I was going to, because I think home advantage for Leeds is going to have a bit of an impact. But I'm still going to go for a Wakefield win. And I'm actually going to go Wakefield 9-17. I think it's going to be a better shot.
Oh, that's a big call. That's a big call. That's a massive. That's a man who had a bad week last week, and he's looking to rectify the situation. That's a big call.
I need points.
You do. Well, Stephen Rudge agrees with you. He agrees with you. Nige Bennett agrees with you. There's Nige. He's going 9-17. Freddie McGilvey.
Wakefield are good enough to do 9-17.
Now, I think Wakey are a good side, mate. I really do. However, I'm going to go Rhinos 1-8. I am. So there's a lot of difference here. Let's just quickly go. Non-members have gone Trim 1-8. Members have gone Leeds 1-8. So, look, the bottom line is, I think it's 3-3 here. 3-3. Am I right? Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3. No, 4-2. 4-2 before Earl sent his in. But, yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think it's a barnstormer a game. Could go either way. Really looking forward to it. And then, of course, the curtain comes down in Perpignan as the Catalan Dragons go up against Hull FC. A Hull FC without John Asiata. That's massive, massive that Asiata's not there in Perpignan. Will Joel Tompkins get a reaction? Well, there's got to be a better reaction than what he got last week, because last week was appalling. Very similar to what I said to Steph. That, if Leigh was to go to Huddersfield and lose, wow. If FC was to go to Perpignan and lose, wow. Because even though that was fantastic last week from FC, they were on a bad run of defeats. And all of a sudden, that win at Catalan if Catalan were to win, that would burst the bubble very quickly. So it's the Asiata factor. Can Catalan be that bad? Of course, Simo saying Catalan out. Greg, your thoughts in Perpignan, mate?
Yeah, I think Catalan are in trouble. I think they're struggling. I think they're struggling for a win. I think the fact that they've lost a coach is a telling factor, and I'm going to go Hull 18 plus. I think Catalan are a spent force at this moment in time. I don't think Joe Tompkins is the answer. I really don't.
Well, I don't think anybody does, but I mean, 18 plus.
18 plus Hull. Yeah, no Asiata, but Hull.
No Cuss potentially.
Yeah, I think Hull are going to win this 18 plus. Catalan are not at the races at this moment in time for whatever reason. So I'm going big. Hull 18 plus.
Well, young Ollie's saying that the Asiata factor Catalan gives it to Catalan 1-8. There's Ollie. There's Ollie again. That boy's a good pundit. Good pundit. Fantastic.
why didn't you say that before I made my guess?
Yeah, he's a good point. He knows what he's doing, Ollie. You know what I mean? Could bring a bit of class to the panel.
I've got now, then, boys.
Right, Steph, mate. Hull, Catalan. Do you agree with Steph? Do we, Greg? Do you think it's an 18 pluser to FC?
No, I don't know. I think it's going to be a very interesting game, this, and we've already, you spoiled a bit for me there with the Asiata thing. We've already had a chat about that. I think Cade Cust is another massive one. But on the flip side of that, do we know if Boucher and Garcia are going to be playing for Catalan?
I think it's unlikely. The feeling I got from the post-match is that they could still be out this week.
Right, okay. Well, I think that's massive. I was doing my prediction based on at least one of those two coming back, giving them a bit more grunt up the middle to go against this very dominant FC pack. But it's tough. It's tough going to Perpignan. It's a tough place to go, and they will want to, for their own fans. They're getting a bit of a run of home games now after being away for a bit. Will want to put a performance in. So I'm going with my mate Ollie. I'm going Catalan 1-8.
Oh, it's a big shout. It's a big shout. Joel, bring the curtain down on round number 13, mate. What's your thoughts?
I think the words from Sam Tompkins have been ringing in my head. The things that he said about Steve Mack being softer than Joel, I think is a massive thing to say. And we've clearly seen the attitude of some of the Catalan players haven't been the best. So, they're going to take the bat and ball home and think, well, we're going to show him. I don't know. Joel's not the answer. He's not a big enough figure within the coaching scene yet. I know he's been given the job interim, but I just don't see the fortunes turning around that fast. I've got FC wrong every single time I've predicted them, so I've gone for something that I don't think will happen, and hoping that it will for once. So I've gone FC 9-17. I think they're gonna be buoyed after the recent games.
FC 9-17 non-members, FC 9-17 members in the chat tonight. Who's that? That's Anthony Crowther. No Asiata showed second half, no play the ball in Leeds 20. Yeah, do you know what? It's a good shout. Yeah. I mean, a lot of love in the chat for FC. A lot of love. And look, the league table is what the league table is. Let's be honest about that. But look, guys, let's not forget it's only 3 points. There's only 3 points between Catalan Dragons and FC, as well as FC have played this season. It's only 3 points. You look at the for and against. Yeah, minus 60 the Dragons, minus 23 FC. There's not an awful lot in it. There really isn't. I mean, in terms of points scored, there's 11. In terms of points conceded, it's 26. Yes, both of those in the favour of FC. But there's not a lot in this. So on that basis, I'm going Catalan 1-8. I'm going the Dragons 1-8. They're at home. They have to be better. And I agree with what was said, reference when Asiata went out in the second half and Cust. They looked a different side. Now, in the short period of time that's gone between the LSV and Perpignan, have they worked on how they're going to overcome perhaps Cade Cust not being there? I mean, better talk about Price being thrown into the six. I don't think. I think they need to leave Price where he is. I think Will Price needs to just settle into a role. I don't think Will, at this stage of his career, is a player who. I mean, look. For example, we saw Bevan French. We saw Jack Wellesby. If Jack Wellesby can't go into six and be effective, what chances Will Price got? If Bevan French can't go from standoff to fullback, what chances Will Price got? I think Will Price, for me, needs to be given a position and he needs to cement himself in that position, dominate it, master it, and move on. I just don't think it's the right thing to move him around. I think he's had a bit of form. I get the Moy thing. I get the Moy that you've got Moy there that can slot in. I understand that. But I'm not. And do you know what? If Custy's out, that's probably what they'll do. Do I agree with it? Probably not. I think it would be advantage Catalan. I just have to say that. It's going to be a very, very fascinating weekend of entertainment, boys. No doubt about it. In the chat. Oh, yeah, we've got Charles. We forget about Jack Charles, don't we?
Mm.
You know, where's Jack Charles gone? Actually, he's in Canada with Camilla, isn't he? I forgot about that. Is Charles. Oh, come on, Greg. Give us a smile. I know that you're concerned about being on the bench for Ollie next week, but come on, mate. I haven't confirmed the transfer yet. Don't worry about it, mate. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. You know, he's all right. Ollie's biding his time. There's no rush. Age is on his side, mate.
I'll be gone soon.
To be fair, Matt Shaw's just confirmed it.
Matt Shaw's just confirmed what?
The transfer.
The transfer, yeah. Superhero shock. Yeah, superhero shock. Look, guys, an outstanding night of entertainment and fun. We'll get to top performance in a minute, and of course, all the shows that are on the way. Like I say, watch along live, Captain's Run Thursday. You know, do indeed catch us for that. Probably got the time for a question. So if anybody in the chat would like to ask us a question, get it in there. We'd love to answer it. And like I say, QR code, please become a member. You will not regret it. For those members who are coming to the Challenge Cup final with us, your tickets will be on the way to you by the end of the week. I've just got to do the print-offs, and I've just also got to decide who's sitting where on the day. But yeah, loads of us, over 30 of us, I think, are going to the Challenge Cup final. And, you know, again, guys, this is what the membership's all about. KR fans, Warrington fans, Huddersfield fans, Leeds fans, FC fans, Castleford fans, Wigan fans. I'm probably missing fans out. I think bar Catalan and Saints and Wakefield. I think everybody else is coming. I mean, the banter's going to be outstanding. Next week, I'm hoping to be able to launch the grand final tickets so that people can come and sit together for the grand final. Last year was incredible. Incredible. We had a great day out at the grand final. This year's will probably be even better. So, yeah, a lot of you tonight have been on the website. You've been looking at prices. Come on. You know, it makes sense. Come and join this wonderful community. Carl saying, where are we going before the game at Wembley? Well, we're all getting in there early doors. Those of us that are going to Club Wembley, Carl, we'll probably get in there when the doors open because we want the full shebang. Steph, last year, the beer prices weren't too bad, were they?
No, it was pretty decent.
Yeah, it was decent, wasn't it?
We had to a nice bar actually, just around the corner from the ground, didn't we?
We did,
which was really nice.
It was nice, but I think for me this year, maybe we get into the ground. We don't necessarily have to go and watch some members might want to go and watch the women's final. Is that a 11:45 kickoff, Greg? I think it's about midday. It's about midday. So for me, you know, there's bars in there. You know, people can go and watch in the bar, but people can go and watch it in the stadium. But I think the plan is just to make it easier. My plan this year is probably to get to the ground about 11:30 and just go straight into Club Wembley. And
we'll be in a pub somewhere near the ground because we're not with you at Box Wembley. I'm going with the family. So if anybody wants to join us at a bar outside the ground, feel free.
Shocking behaviour.
Anyway, but there you go. No, we will meet up. I'm sure we'll meet up on the day. The grand final, Carla Collier is coming again. Yeah, Carla last year, we had to convince Carla to come last year, and ever since that, she has loved it. She loves being a part of this community. Carl, we're in block 212, I think, off the top of my head.
212.
Liam Rush lost the VR link last week, and he did a good job. Was that Rush or was that Moore?
Rush was at Catalan, Castleford.
Castleford. Was it Liam Moore who lost the link?
No, it was Rush at Castleford.
Was it Rush at Castleford? Yeah. I've slept a few times since then. No, you know what? Amazing. No questions. Unbelievable. Anyway, we won't labour the point. We are back, of course, next Tuesday for a pre-Challenge Cup Super League Royal Weekly. And of course, don't forget, we are doing the Final Whistle podcast, the special Final Whistle podcast, chaired by Craig Forth. He put his hand up for it, he wants to do it. So Craig is going to be chairing the Final Whistle podcast, and it's going to be a really good discussion between Wire and KR fans, which will be absolutely marvellous ahead of the final. Of course, everybody who is a member is welcome. Tony. Cheers, guys. Oh, dear. Tony Pennington lost his mum yesterday. That is a shocker, Tony, and that's not the way we'd like to end the show, as I'm sure you could appreciate. But mate, our hearts go out to you, my friend. This one. Bottom line is this, mate. We feel we feel the loss, mate. This is for your mum, mate. Hopefully, she will continue to watch over you in life, mate. I'm sure she will. You will meet again, my friend. And keep your chin up, mate. This community will pull you through that. I'm sure everybody in the community will rally around you, Tony. So our very, very best thoughts and wishes. Lovely that tonight has given you a little bit of enjoyment. Really sorry to hear that, Chief. And you need anything, all of the boys on the screen and all the community are here for you. Not the way we'd like to end the show, but it's great that Tony has been with friends and this has picked him up. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. Tony lost one of the most dearest people in his life, but Tony has picked him up. That's what this community is all about, and I'm sure that is nothing compared to what's coming next. We will do Bet Steph in Captain's Run, both the 5-4, which I forgot to do, and the try scorers. But we'll be back next week. Here comes the top performers. Thanks for your love and support. Bye for now. Here are the top performers after 12 rounds of the Betfred Super League. The most tries have been scored by Wakefield of the Wigan Warriors with 13. Whilst the most try assists have come from Lachlan Lamb of the League Leopards, he's got 17. The most meters made is now Leigh Marshall of the Wigan Warriors, 1,972, taken over from Matt Duffy. Whilst the most clean breaks is joint with Mikey Lewis of Hull KR and Wakefield of the Wigan Warriors with 16. The most tackles in Super League is still Oliver Parkinson of the Catalan Dragons with 509. Whilst the most tackle busts have still come from Junior Insember of the Wigan Warriors with 76. The most hard meters down the middle is still Alex Wormsley of St Helens, 1,606. Whilst the most offloads have come from Tabita Pangai Jr. of the Catalan Dragons with 28. And finally, the most goals in Super League is Adam Kieran with 40 for the Warriors. These are your top performers after 12 rounds of the Betfred Super League.